I want to talk about this very quickly. By the way, just to give you an update as to what's going on in the game between Burnley and Middlesbrough. We are into added on time. It is still 1-1 in that game. All right, let's talk about this, Rory, as we wrap up the show. Did you hear about this? 8 seconds for keepers to release the ball, or it's a corner.
Yes.
Just leave our game alone.
I know, I do find this incessant desire to try and improve the game, and I use the word improve in inverted commas. The motivation is to improve, but yeah, I don't necessarily think it's a huge issue. I don't think that it's something that's needed. Let
me give you an overview of what I'm talking about here. Referees will award a corner to the opposition if a goalkeeper holds on the ball for too long, under a new system which is being considered by football's lawmakers. Under the proposed change, trialled successfully, by the way, in the Premier League's under-21 competition, goalkeepers will not be allowed to hold the ball for longer than 8 seconds. If they do, the referee will award a corner to the opposite team.
We've heard all this before, though. Do you remember the 6 second? Do you remember the 6 second rule that keepers were supposed to adhere to that they never did? I mean, it feels unnecessary. And you know, when you think of all the issues in the game, if anything's going to change, why don't we have a serious look at how VAR is working? If we're actually going to change something in the game, why don't we actually have a look at who our referees are? You know, if we're going to put genuine effort into improving the game, I find things like this nonsense.
No, but we do need more time with the ball is actually in play between players. Do you know that the average time is 55 minutes or something? Like where the ball's in play.
Yeah, but a lot
55 minutes.
Yeah, but a lot of the time when, you know, if the ball goes out for a throw-in, that's just part of football, isn't it? It's like, it's not that the game isn't going on. You wouldn't go and buy yourself a beverage when a ball goes out for a throw-in. Yeah. It's not. It's just the game. The ball goes out. The defence will reset, and then the game goes on. Yeah,
I love what you said there as well about it. We are going to try and change something. Can we just sort out the rest, please?
I know.
Like, can we have the best? Can we have the best in class? Like we continually say this is the best league in the world and has the best players. And you mentioned the best referees. We have the worst referees.
Yeah, inept. Yeah. And it's not my opinion, by the way, that they're inept.
No, that's fact.
They proved it that they were inept. Remember when that audio was released of Luis Diaz scoring that goal at White Hart Lane, and the VAR, they admitted in that they knew the decision was wrong and they went with it anyway. Totally incompetent. If we're going to focus on something, if money is going to be spent on improving the game, why don't we work out the process in who applies for these jobs and who is getting these jobs?
You know how inept it is, and it's always highlighted every time Champions League rolls around, and you look at the Champions League referees, and you're like, okay, this is best in class.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, and it's almost like the players accept it's the best in class as well, because every time a decision is like, hotly contested, the players just accept the referee's decision because they almost feel like, okay, they must have got it right. It's the best in class. Premier League referees.
Yeah. But I also thought that, I remember the Qatar World Cup. Do you remember how smoothly VAR worked in the Qatar World Cup?
Fantastic.
And you think about the issues that we have here, the constant check, the delay. Look, this issue about goalkeepers holding the ball for too long, maybe it is an issue, but it's not something that I'd massively focus on at the moment. I remember when Arsene Wenger did this. Arsene Wenger, in his new role, took major issue with throw-ins. He thinks that if you win a throw-in, you're actually at a disadvantage because your team are effectively down to 10
there
players.
Are some ones, I mean, look, I agree. I think this rule's rubbish, right? But there are some, I mean, like the pass back, we grew on that. Like, there'll be people listening to this not realising that goalkeepers before could pick the ball up. I mean, that got scrapped, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, that was after Peter Schmeichel for Denmark, wasn't it?
Yeah,
they took the mick.
Picking up. Yeah. So it does work. And by the way, on this trial, I will say this, that trials have also taken place in Malta, are now going to be extended to Italy's under-20 league after it was shown that it was a big deterrent to goalkeepers holding the ball for too long. It was deemed successful.
Especially if you're playing against Arsenal. Like, you really wouldn't want to give a corner away in that circumstance, would you?
No chance.
Yeah. Do you think that they're trying to win them? Do you think that tactically Mikel Arteta will say to Martinelli, go on the outside and try and cross it in, and when you do that, inevitably you'll win a corner?
100%.
You think they're actually
this
angling
is now
for
their
corners?
thing, isn't it? This is now their thing.
Gabriel Martinelli's responsibility isn't to get the ball into the box. It's to pretend to get the ball into the box and win a corner.
They have a corner coach, don't they?
Yeah, Nico Jova.
Who? Did you see him on the touchline? I remember when they played Liverpool. He's on the touchline like Arteta. Like, he's literally on the touchline screaming.
They've scored 22 goals, though. Since the start of last season, they've scored 22 goals from corners. That's ridiculous.
Must be the highest.
Oh, by a mile. I've never known anything like it.
Yeah.
I've never known anything like it. The only thing you can compare it to is when Stoke used to get a throw in. Like, basically,
one second. Who?
Stoke.
When who? What's the name of the team again?
Stoke.
So 1 second. When I mentioned Stoke
No.
and related it to Arsenal, you gave me stick.
No, I didn't give it stick. You
just
tried to
just done
compare
exactly
Mikel
the same
Arteta
thing.
to Tony
No, I
Pulis
didn't.
and
I
do
said
it as a
Stoke.
positive.
I said Arsenal are like Stoke now.
No.
And you had a go, and all of a sudden you've just now compared them to Stoke.
No. I'm doing what
You
Dimitar
don't
Berbatov did.
even, you don't know what you're doing, do you?
I know exactly what I'm doing.
A minute before the end of the show, you just lost the plot.
I know exactly what I'm doing. Don't you worry about me, Oladipo. I'm on fine form. But look, I've never really known a situation where, you know, when Arsenal win a corner, the entire atmosphere at the Emirates, they start piping up on that because they genuinely believe.
And Saliba and Gabriel are just monsters.
Yeah.
They're massive human
But
beings.
even when Gabriel, I felt like Gabriel was integral to it, but then Gabriel's not on the pitch, and suddenly Thomas Partey's winning it in the air, and he's falling to Saliba's
But one
feet.
thing that I don't think we credit as much as we should, the deliveries.
I know, Saka.
They're perfect.
I know, Saka, Rice,
Trossard, Rice.
I know.
Like they just literally, it's perfect delivery.
I know.
It's an art. It's an art. Credit to them.
It is an art form, and it should be appreciated as one, rather than being sniped
rather
at
than
by people like you.
comparisons like you making
People like you, Tony
Stoke
Pulis,
City
Mikel
comparisons.
Arteta, Tony Pulis. It's pathetic. You should hang your head in shame for that one.
You always think you're going to get the last word on my show. You must be crazy. Our show. Rory Jennings, been fantastic.
It's been an honour until the last 5 minutes where you really let yourself down.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.